Hey guys, welcome back to another video, and in today's video we're doing the Shrine of Secrets review for the 2nd of November 2022. I'm sorry for missing yesterday. I completely lost track of what day it was, so I didn't even realize it was Wednesday, and by the time I did realize, I was too busy and I didn't really have any time to record it and upload it. So I'm here the day after, so apologies about that, but I'm here now anyway, so it doesn't matter. I've got a bit of free time this week, so I might be making a video, but I'm not really sure what to make a video on. So it might just be another killer gameplay, or if I come up with something, then I will do a video on that as well. But no guarantees. I'm just gonna say I'm thinking about it, but I'm not nothing set in stone yet. So don't hold your breath. But anyway, first of all, we have Bloodhound, which is a Wraith perk, and this one lets you see blood marks a lot more easier, and they stay for 4 seconds longer than usual. This one is one of those perks where, like, it's really good for beginner players and players who are struggling to find survivors and players who are just new to killer in general and need to see how the different mechanics work. Pardon me. It's essentially just to help you realize that pools of blood are a thing you can track. It highlights it like the way Victor sees blood trails when you use Victor with the twins. It's actually the exact same effect where the blood's just like really shiny. But this one has it so they stay for a bit longer as well, which normally they don't. But it's basically just to help you get used to seeing blood and following blood. Obviously, it's a lot less subtle, a lot more subtle, sorry, when you don't use this perk. So do keep that in mind. But yeah, if you're learning killer or you just want to learn, you just can't track survives very well, this one's definitely good for that. But other than that, it's doesn't really serve a purpose. I mean, it does obviously, but you know what I mean. Next up, we have Lightborn, which is a hillbilly perk, and this one lets you be immune to flashlights. So if a killer flashbangs you, or flashlight beams, or anything like that, firecrackers, it basically doesn't do anything, and it shows you the aura of the person who tried to blind you for 10 seconds. So there's a lot of like debate around this perk and if it's actually worth bringing or not. And my opinion is I think it's good once again for like learning about flashlights and obviously other items that can blind and stun you. I think though it's easy to say that, oh, just look into a wall, but sometimes if you're out in the open, you can't really do that, and the best you can do is turning around. But I do think it's best to try not to get hooked onto this perk. It's kind of like his opposite, Shadowborn, which is very hard for some people to take off because it's such a nice effect. You will have to try and get used to playing the game without Lightborn because it's just part of the game. Flashlights and all the items and perks with it, they're always going to be a thing, and there's always going to be people using them, and I just don't think you should be always using a perk slot up just for that, which obviously flashlights don't have in every game. I would say most of the time they don't actually, but I just think once again this one's like good for learning killer and learning that people will try and blind you, and the aura reveal is really nice and everything, but I think after a while, like Bloodhound, you can take it off and work on your own for a bit. So nothing wrong with using it for a bit, and I think you could definitely use it if like your lobby is like all full survivors with flashlights. Then it's justified. Then I would say, yeah, okay, bring that, swap something out, because like that's fucking crazy. You're not gonna get any hooks that game. So ups and downs. I do think it's good. I just don't think you should get latched onto it. Next up, we have Boon Shadow Step, which is a Michaela perk, and this one last week it was Circular Healing, I'm pretty sure, or one of the weeks. And this one is her other boon perk. Do keep in mind that you will need this for the archive and term challenges. So I would say immediately get this if you're doing those. But if not, and you want to just learn about the perk, basically, you boon a totem, and within the 24-meter range, your aura cannot be revealed to the killer, and you leave no scratch marks. And you don't leave scratch marks for an extra 4 seconds once you leave the boon's range. So people like to stack this with Circle of Healing because I feel like this one on its own is a bit odd. Personally, I do that. I think Shadow Step's probably my favorite boon, but I do think you should probably maybe use it for something else because I feel like sometimes it's just a bit awkward. People see a boon and they assume that it's Circle of Healing, and I don't know. I think if they just see it shadow step, they're a bit like, oh, okay. um, so maybe do use this with another boon at least. But I still think this one is solid because leaving those scratch marks is really helpful. Even though obviously the boon makes a sound, so they can kind of tell that it's shadow step. I feel like you can still throw some killers off when you leave those scratch marks. Sometimes they can even escape chase with it, things like that. And also the added bonus of not showing the aura to the killer. I feel like people forget that one. It's something that I forget all the time, but it's so useful. It's basically distortion, but for free. As long as you're in that range, if you're healing or doing a gen in the boon or anything like that, your aura doesn't get shown for as long as the boon is standing. So I think it's definitely solid. Really good for your play style if you're kind of like bit stealthy, you know, not like stealthy to the point of like just crouching around the sides of the map, but like, you know, if you want to just get objectives done and not be hassled, it's definitely good for that. It's definitely good on indoor maps because it can really throw the killer off that way. And it's just fun. Like I said, I think you should definitely pair this with something else. But if not, that's fine because again, sometimes I just use this by itself because I just like it. And finally, we have Vigil, which is a Quentin perk, and this one has so you recover from exhaustion, blindness, broken, oblivious, exposed, hemorrhage, and hindered 25% faster, which I think goes up to 30% because this isn't tier 3. And once out of the range, you get that for extra 15 seconds. Sorry. This one, again, I feel like it's pretty good if you're that kind of play style. If you want to just use your sprint burst and just get it back. I feel like this one is mainly used for exhaustion because exhaustion perks are just so popular. But it's good for the other stuff as well. Broken, you know, like if you've got deliverance or renewal or something like that. Actually, I don't know if it would work for renewal or not. Actually, I think it would. Exposed obviously is really good as well. Oblivious is like a really common one with like add-ons for powers and stuff like that. So I definitely think this one has its uses. I do see this one quite a lot. I don't really use it a lot myself, but I feel like, I don't know, every couple of matches there's someone with Vigil. Also, the extra 15 seconds thing is nice. It's just a nice little bonus once you leave the person's range. And I think recover from these effects is pretty nice. Once again, I'm not sure about using a whole perk slot for it because I feel like in some cases it'd be better to like have something else that's a bit more like impactful and active. I get the perks of this one. I'm just saying, like, I don't know. I'm not sure about using it every match because obviously sometimes that won't always be an issue. So I don't know. It's just up to you, really, I guess. The only one I would recommend, honestly, is Shadow Step because I think it's just good as a perk and good for the archives because you need this perk. Vigil, it's a unique perk, definitely. I mean, it helps to recover from like some really big debuffs quicker and everything, and I feel like it's kind of underused and not really valued. So I definitely do see value in it. I just don't think you should use it like all the time. Maybe use other stuff. And the other two perks are okay. I think they're good for training, but they are free killers. Wraith and Hillbilly are some of the OGs. So again, I always say just level them up. It's not worth buying because you might as well just level the killer up and get him at least prestige 1. So yeah, guys, that's good for me. Hope you enjoyed. I hope you found this useful, and I'll see you in the next one.